Well, hello my friends, Bruce here. Well, the next video is going to be interesting. I was laying in bed thinking, have I got enough parts laying around here to build a little motor? And then I got thinking, well, you know, I've got a good block, got the wrong crankshaft in it because it's only got a stubby bolt this long. I wanted something longer to reach for a blade, and I got another one that has a good crankshaft. But the problem, and I thought about carburetor parts and all that stuff, and I think I can do it. The only problem is going to be coming up with governor springs and things like diaphragms for carburetors and stuff like that. So stay tuned. It's going to be a fun video, and let's see how we do. I'm going to start probably tomorrow. Bye. Well guys, I would like to introduce you to this little 3.5 horsepower Briggs & Stratton motor. It came in just like this, except for one thing. And I forgot to turn on the camera. I just took off the blade adapter, which was with a little keyway there. And this was stuck on like that. Right up tight. It was all the way up. You can trust me on it. And it wasn't easy to get off. I couldn't get my jaws on it. So I just got in behind it and tapped it, and it came off. So that's where we're at. You might have seen, it depends on whether I film it or not. I did lap the valves with my new ancient valve lapper, of which I made 2 different size ends for smaller cups. Alrighty, seems to work a little better when the valve is closer to the size of the cup, of course, right? That is wonderful. Okay, gonna wipe off the valve, spray it off. Should have a nice gray line on it. All the way around too. Beautiful thing, beautiful thing. Da da da. So the valves are good, right? So exhaust, intake, compression, and then I do that's about where the piston is when I do the gapping of the valves in there, right down there. So now you're caught up. It's a cute little guy. It's got a lot of different little things about it. Of course, it sits like this, right? And I'm scratching up the label as I go. I should probably just stick some tape on there. But I just wanted to get it running. It's got points. We don't have to put points on it, but it has points. And yeah, I don't even know if a regular clutch will fit on that. I think I'm just going to wash the outside of it with some solvent and see where we go from there. So you don't have to watch that. I just use a little paintbrush, a toothbrush. I'm just going to clean it up a little bit. It's not bad for an old motor. It's actually pretty good. Did I mention how short this output shaft was? That's crazy. I have to say, I've fixed a lot of lawnmowers, and some of them have short shaft, and I have my little Briggs outside, the little red one that has a really short shaft, but I don't think it's that short. It's quite interesting to me. Yeah. Everything's interesting to me, right? So now I'm just getting into the little nicks and crannies now. I'm going to keep poking and rinsing and filtering and poking and rinsing and filtering. And hopefully we'll get all the goo off this guy. It's funny, I get covered in goo, so I hate to work, so I don't have to work with goo. Alright guys, it doesn't look it, but it's as clean as it's gonna get. I'm putting the shield back on now, because it goes on from underneath, eh? I should have used a nut driver all along. My ratchet wrench stuck itself in there. Okay. Oh, wow, that's so cool. A clean motor to work on. Doesn't look clean, but it is. Even the fins. So I want to take the crank out of this little motor. It's wrecked. The cylinder's scored. I guess I should show you that, eh? Right there. Can you hear it? It's good enough. So I want to take the sump plate off this motor and see if I can get the crank out, because I want the crank. I've been working on this little motor, which is in perfect condition, but the crank is too weird. It's threaded all the way, and I want a crankshaft that has room for the modern clutch right there where my finger is, and also I want a crankshaft that has more output length than that. In this modern day, that's almost useless. In fact, it is useless. So now we're going to get the hammer out, and I'm going to just tap this off of here so carefully. I wonder if I have to wipe this or if we will get it off. Something gave. Good. I would love to save the gasket, man. It might go. Oh, we're back on this one. It's all right. Yeah, let's have a look and see how this gasket's doing. It's on the bottom there, it's on the top there, it's on the bottom there. So let's just do some fiddling. Okay, we're there. Nothing's easy. Okay, that's what I wanted. Now let's have a look at this sump, because it might be usable. Look at that's what happens. Eh? You get sludge in the bottom. Eh? That's what they call sludge. Oh, okay. So these motors do not have a compression release. Cool. I'm keeping that. So now I'll just get you to look in here. I know this crank is going to be in great shape. So there it is. We want to disconnect the retainer, the bolt retainer, and then take the cap off, and then pull out the piston and get the rod out of here. Now the next thing I want to do is get this gasket off of here, and I will love that. Oh my gosh, that's a fantastic thing. Could have used that last week. Isn't that funny, eh? You come across something a week after you need it. Is that with everybody out there? Okay, so now I just need a small prying device. You're okay, Yogi. It's the dog. I'm dog sitting today. I'm not sitting on a dog, I'm dog sitting. I mentioned my snap-on punches before. They absolutely rock. I think this motor's been apart once. I'll show you what I'm done. This. Okay. So what I've done now is I've just taken this metal and peeled it back on the retainer, and we'll get these bolts off now. You're fine, Yogi. Oh, he's a beautiful dog. He just wants to go outside and it's raining. Can you imagine if that coat gets wet? You're a good boy. Hey, come here. Come on. Come on. Say hi to the guys. Say hello to the folks. Sit. Sit down. You say hi to everybody out there. But now, shoot a video for 2 hours and the dog steals the scene. Right? So I'm just going to get this off of here and then we'll come back. Okay, I got smart and I got my 1/4 inch ratchet out. Should have done that all along, right? Okay. Undo. So I'll show you this when I'm finished. Okay, I missed it. You missed it. But this is the rod that came out of there. It's in perfect condition. Absolutely beautiful. It just amazes me how long this stuff lasts, eh? And even the piston is okay. It might need new rings because it did scrape the cylinder. I'll show you that right down in here. So that is toast. I think we can put this in the aluminum pile. Thanks. Good. So now we can turn this over and take the crank out. It's so nice and clean. Can you see all those? I'm going to take them all off. Magnet. Okay, that's with this engine. We'll leave a little pile over here. Must be a spur on the shaft, eh? Might have to use the other base. What the hell was grabbing on that? Right there. Okay. We may have to use that one. Is it going to be identical to this one? Yes. It was on. Good. I think we can leave that. Now we're going to undo that. Okay, I'm just going to take this piston off of here. We'll tap that open. Still watching? Yes, I'm just punching. This is the backup. This is the piston. And we're coming in onto the rod and connecting rod. And I'm just bending the tang back that holds the bolt. And that is done. Just, can you see that right there? Maybe not. Turn it a little bit. And that is done just like that, if you can see it. And I think I'm going to take a break after I finish this. Good. Now to get those bolts out, all you need is a small 1/4-inch ratchet. That always happens. It flips off. Okay, and then we bring this one around and we hook up to it. And that's it. This one's in better shape than the other one, so we will use this rod cap, or this rod. Won't use this rod cap, but we'll use this rod retainer. Okay, I'm going to poke this piston out from the bottom. Good. Might need one more. There we go. Look at that. Tiny bit of wear on the skirt, nothing. Okay, let's pull this crankshaft out of here. Okay, this was the weird short one, eh? And that must have been where it grabbed onto the sump. I should have filed that a little bit more. Alrighty. So I'm going to use this crankshaft. It's longer. It's going to work. It's going to work absolutely perfectly. Right? And then this is the piston that's going to go in there. Same piston. Make sure the rings are offset. What I'm just trying to do is I'm trying to compress the rings. Alright, I've got the new cylinder in. The rod is around the crank. Sorry, I missed this. You just push it down. This clamps over the old rod, which is, okay, it's sitting up like that. And that just clamps around there and does up with those 2 bolts. It's hard to film. It's probably why there's not a lot out there on film. Okay, I'm just going to tighten these up and then we'll get a spec on the torquing. Okay, I don't know if I mentioned it, but the torquing on that rod bolt is 100 inch-pounds. I went to 105. Alright, my next mission is going to be just putting a thin layer of ultra-grade gasket around this. This is our clean sump now. It's clean as a whistle. And on this existing gasket. Alright, super thin layer of gasket cement because we have a gasket. Oops, a little bit on the gear, but that's okay. We'll change the oil after 10 minutes of running. Beautiful. Come on. Now we got the seal. Oh yeah. Now I want to pull that up to see if I marked it. Yes, I did. Smooth that out. And we're in. Just gotta we'll get some persuasion, just a tiny bit. That's a wrap. Okay, let's bolt this baby together. This is one of those moments, eh? Six. I'm just going to hand tighten them for now, and then in 15 or 20 minutes I'll tighten them up. That's what the instructions say. But it's already been about 15 minutes of me mucking around. I'm going to use my favorite little ratchet. Good. So in 15 minutes I'll just tighten that up and we're back standing up. Alright, the exact same process on the valve cover. I want to just measure the valve distance one more time. 009 on the exhaust, and it's just there, and 7 on the intake. Now that's the second choice of parameters, because in the list there's 2. There's like 4 and 6 or something, and then there's 7 and 9. So an 8 won't fit and the 7 is perfect. So there we go, 7 and 9. And I will just get that piece of paper. 7 and exhaust 9. And we're right there. Okay, so that's enough of that whining. I'm just going to put this little valve cover on, which means cleaning up this old gasket and putting the valve cover on. Whoop, that way. Just like that. Alright guys, it doesn't look like much, but we're at top dead center now, alright? Bang! Gases explode. At the bottom of the stroke, the exhaust valve's open and pushes the bad gas out the muffler. Right? And right afterwards, from the intake, gas goes in, sucks in through the intake valve, and back again for compression, and bang, you got her. Yikes, the magnet.